Look, I don't want you to end up in the same place as me.
What does that mean?
Well, I wanted you to be happier.
And I just didn't think I could do it by myself.
I thought they'd help.
Okay. I thought we were fine, though. Just me and you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So when I'm writing, I can't think of actors. I have this kind of strange version of whoever I'm writing in my head. And then there's this thing that happens is you meet Annette Bening, you meet Greta Gerwig, you meet Elle Fanning, and they have their own interpretation and experience. And they bring all that, and just their timing and their electricity and their soul, all that comes in, and I really invite it. Ready, and action. The way I write, I don't really create characters. I literally interview people. So the Dorothea, it's based a lot on my mom. Abby's based on people who are really close to me. And the same thing, Julie. Julie's a lot of girls I had crushes on in junior high, high school. And I love that way of working, where it's a little bit a reporter, a little bit a screenwriter. So the actor needs to be fully engaged and alive and feel like, oh, I know this and I got to tell you this, you know? And if you're being honest and vulnerable and real, everyone can relate to that, even if it's totally different than your experience.
I don't need a book to know about myself. Mostly, I would describe her as a woman full of contradictions, who loves her son deeply, who's alone.
My mom had like short hair, dressed sort of mannishly, and was surrounded by all these mothers who were 10 to 15 years younger than her, who were living much more typically feminine lives. And then, you know, she smoked and she made jokes all the time. I was like, you are not like the other moms. And when you think of like a worldly, androgynous, middle-aged woman who has this authenticity to her, you know, like Annette Bening just rises very quickly to the top of that list.
You just feel guilty because it's just me and you.
You don't know what I'm feeling.
I'm a guy writing this mom character, so I'm really counting on Annette to like tell me what it's like, or to tell me when I'm wrong, or to fill in the blanks. And she does that handily.
You're not mad? You're mad.
She's the kind of woman in some ways that Abby wants to be like. And watching Annette act, it did a lot of my work for me. She's so skilled technically, but then it's different every take. And she'll play a scene in a completely counterintuitive way, or she'll start laughing in the middle of it. But it's because she's so present to the moment.
That's my favorite kind of acting. You know, it's a very delicate thing to try to encourage. Like, it's really their journey.
Shit. Julie. One of the things Mike is tapping into is the mystery of our children and our parents, and that we all seek to know our parents in a way that we can never fully realize.
I'd like to know what's going on with you.
Mom, I'm dealing with everything right now. You are dealing with nothing. The moment that I found out that I landed this role is actually a moment that me and Mike laugh about for a while, because he calls me and he says, Lucas, I'd like you to play Jamie. And all I could say was, thank you for the opportunity, over and over and over. And he got off the phone. The producer asked him, like, so was he excited? And he's like, I don't know. I think he was in some sort of shock. All he could say was, thank you for the opportunity. And that's kind of a joke that we still have.
Jamie, so many kids I grew up with. He's specific to me in that I had my mom and my sisters. These strong ladies around that I always gravitated towards.
I find the relationship between Jamie and his mom very real. There's nothing about it that's synthetic or just written on a piece of paper.
That central question for Dorothea is, how do I let this kid go out and figure out what the world's like, and how do I keep him safe? And Lucas, who plays my son, is a very intelligent, very intuitive, extraordinary young man.
You get to see him out in the world as a person. I never will.
So Abby, her story of dealing with all these like really big questions, that all comes from a real person. And I really wanted to tell that story. I really thought that was so compelling.
It was pretty important to me that you still feel who she was before this happened, so it didn't only feel like it was a document of someone who was very traumatized. I think through living in that house, she kind of can figure out how to build a life out of what seemed like a wasteland before.
Greta came very easily to mind because to me, Greta feels like a real person when you see her on screen. And then I feel like she's just so intelligent, which I wanted Abby to be. And again, she's super funny.
You cannot let her sleep here if she's not having sex with you. It's disempowering.
Julie is very jealous of Abby. I mean, she's from New York, she's this older girl, and Julie, in a funny way, kind of aspires to be that. But that, in real life, it's kind of the same because I feel like Greta's like this extremely cool girl, and I want to be like that. This is just my opinion. I think being strong is the most important quality. It's not being vulnerable, it's not being sensitive. Honestly, it's not even being happy. It's about strength and your durability against the other emotions.
Julie comes from all these real young women I grew up with and used to hang around, and I wish I got to hang around with Elle Fanning when I was 16-year-old.
Julie's a very complex little thing. There's a lot of stuff that's going on inside of her, and she might not always be right, but she always believes in what she's saying.
She's a badass. You know, I love that about her, and I respect that about her.
You're good at hiding stuff, huh?
My mom calls it compartmentalizing.
And I like how close she is to Jamie, although I'm a little bit nervous about what's going on between them.
He can tell her things and feel comfortable and feel like he's not going to be hurt.
Elle's is a fairly magical person. Her talents are so deep and so intuitive, and there's never really a bad take, and it's just always which way you're going to explore it.
I guess I've never really gotten to play a girl like her. I'm kind of going through the same things as Julie's going through. I mean, it's hard growing up and feeling all those different types of emotions, and so getting to play that was very exciting to me.
Oh, hey, sorry.
There's a lot of men in late 70s Santa Barbara who are a lot like William, and they would kind of drift in and out of your life. And my mom was a contractor, and there's all these carpenter dudes that would be a part of her life who are very lost in a way, very capable and very lost.
William is really a good person and deeply kind and trustworthy.
How did you get to be this person that you are? You're so unusual.
Through the course of living with Dorothea, he develops a fascination with pottery, and I think finds a lot of peace in that.
Well, part of William comes from a friend of mine who could fix any car. And I'd ask him, how do you know all this works? He's like, I don't know, I just do. And it just came to him. But it was also sort of, I don't think he wanted to be a mechanic. And so I just took that little thing and put it onto William.
Do you want to fool around with me? And I thought Billy was so kind in how he made William quite sincere.
Yeah. I do.
I really love him.
20th Century Women altogether is sort of a party. You have Dorothea as the host who's invited this weird group of women to be with her son, and then it's this strange mix of people that are sort of all affecting each other.
You get to see each character separate from the unit and how they act inside the unit. It's interesting to see what's going on inside of them.
Especially with the chemistry of these actors. And it kind of kept occurring every time you see them together.
We're all in it together and making it the best that it could be, hopefully.
Great cut. Wonderful scene. I'm not a woman making a film about women. I'm a guy admiring these ladies, and they're just the most important thing that happened in my young life.
There's a difference between the true answer and the right answer. The right answer is something that you think the other person wants to hear, and so you display that. The true answer is something that's true to yourself, and you're opening yourself up by showing, and it's defining you as a person and not what you want to be perceived as.
It really matters to try to be truthful. So that creates an incredible bond that I just love, and certainly Mike knows how to do that. So it was a joy to do that with him and with the other cast members.
This story is very close to Mike's heart, and a lot of it is very true. And knowing that, you do feel a huge responsibility that you owe it to Mike, being this amazing guy. You owe it to him to make the best of the memories that happened, you know, and bring those back to life so it can live on.
Years after she's gone, I will have a son. I will try to explain to him what his grandmother was like. But it will be impossible.